All right, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Ian Garry's taking on Geoff Neal, UFC 292 in Boston. I want to get my reaction, my thoughts, and possibly an early prediction towards the end of this video on this fight. Before we get into it, like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's get right into it, dude. So Ian Garry, first of all, I can't swear because we're only 22 seconds into this video, but is a very bad man, okay? The fact that he is taking this fight against Geoff Neal, despite him taking his wife's last name, this is some bad man stuff, okay? He is taking a big jump up in competition from his last opponent in Derek Rodriguez, and to me it's a breath of fresh air because we've seen recently certain superstars take their time, almost going full boxing model, where they don't want to fight certain guys until they're getting paid a certain amount or anything like this. Like, for example, Sean O'Malley, and now I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this way of doing things because it allows you to build a brand, build a character, and, get kind of make your way in the UFC before you have to fight an extremely tough opponent. Sean O'Malley took 8 fights before he fought a top 10 guy in Pedro Munoz. And I know a lot of people probably think of the Marlon Chito Vera as like his first tough fight, but I want to remind everybody at the time of that fight, Sean O'Malley was the one that was ranked. Chito Vera was not yet ranked. Sean O'Malley was ranked number 14. Chito Vera had yet to have a number beside his name. Nobody really realized just how good Chito was going to be, just how far he was going to make it in the bantamweight division. Pedro Munoz was his 9th fight, and I know that he took a lot of time off due to an injury, but I think it was something around 4 or 5 years before he fought a top 10 ranked guy. This will be Ian Garry's 6th fight in the UFC in less than 2 years, mind you, right? His first fight in the UFC was November of 2021. So in less than 2 years, he'll be having his 6th fight. He'll be fighting number 8 ranked Geoff Neal, and it's not so much the number beside Geoff Neal's name, but what it is for me is the performance, the fight that he just had with Shavkat Rakhmonov. For a lot of people, that was kind of Geoff Neal's Gilbert Burns moment, right? When Gilbert Burns was supposed to get absolutely destroyed by Khamzat Chimaev, was a big underdog, went into that fight and fought tooth and nail with Khamzat Chimaev and almost won. While Geoff Neal may have got finished late in that 3rd round, he put on an incredible showing of himself. That was an absolute war, and he was also a massive underdog. Now, to be fair, he did miss weight in that fight. I hope he doesn't do this for Ian Garry, but to take such a big step up in competition and to just be running through it also, and to not even mention about pay or anything like this. Now, maybe the UFC went ahead and upped his contract anyways, but he just hasn't been complaining. He wants to fight the best guys in the world. He keeps doing quick turnarounds. He's a bad motherfucker, dude. That is a tough fight. Geoff Neal is a big step up in competition. He is also very good. And the Shavkat Rakhmonov fight proved that. Not that he didn't have incredible performances before that, but just how highly people thought of Shavkat Rakhmonov. And then Geoff Neal goes out there and fights absolutely fucking tooth and nail with him when he was basically supposed to get ran through. That was supposed to be Shavkat Rakhmonov's, like, springboard into the top 10, you know what I mean? And while I'm giving all the praise in the world to Ian Garry, I also want to give praise to Geoff Neal because him taking this matchup is, in my opinion, more risky than Ian Garry taking the step up in competition that he is doing, because Ian Garry's 5 places below him in the rankings. I think Ian Garry's sitting at number 13 right now in the welterweight division. Geoff Neal's at number 8. I mean, if he loses this one, right, he goes down quite a bit in the rankings, possibly out of the top 10 even. And he's the guy who lost to, the new kid, basically. So I feel as though there's more risk for Geoff Neal in this fight than there actually is for Ian Garry. But that being said, the reason why I think that is because in my opinion, anything short of Geoff Neal, like, head kick KOing him the way that he did Mike Perry in the first round, I mean, if he fights with him to a decision, I think it only ups his stock, and he's not necessarily going to lose his place in the rankings, and he'll just get another opponent. And I want to go back to the Geoff Neal side too. To me, it's Ian Garry's going to want to fight guys that want to strike with him, right? Geoff Neal's going to want to strike with him. That's what Geoff Neal does. I think that this is, it's a good matchup for either guy because they know that they're not going to have to worry about getting taken down or anything like this. But at the same time, it's like Ian Garry wants to be fighting those guys. He doesn't want to be fighting wrestlers. He wants to fight guys that'll strike with him because he's very sneaky. He's very good on the feet. Geoff Neal is also. Geoff Neal does a lot of good A lot of good stuff on the feet, man. He sets stuff up. He's not just like a straightforward, just fundamental striker. He's pretty sophisticated in his striking. We've seen that in multiple fights, but he's not as long. He doesn't quite have the physical attributes. What we did learn is that he is absolutely tough as fucking nails, though. And I don't know that Ian Garry has the same level of toughness as a Geoff Neal. Okay, we saw Geoff Neal fucking just get battered in that Shavkat Rakhmonov fight and just kept coming. And he had to get choked out, right? That fight was like a 99% striking fight. And he just wasn't going away. So Shavkat Rakhmonov finally locked up a choke in the clinch, standing rear naked choke to get him out of there. We've seen Ian Garry get hurt. And I know that we saw I know that we saw Geoff Neal get hurt against Shavkat Rakhmonov, but we've seen Ian Garry get hurt against guys who are not nearly the level of a Shavkat Rakhmonov. So, again, credit to both guys. Absolute G's for taking this fight. It's going to be a fucking banger of a fight also, in my opinion. I can't wait to watch this one. But if I had to guess, or not guess, if I had to make an early prediction just based on their overall body of work, their style, everything like that, I would think I would have to lean Geoff Neal at this point. I don't know that he's absolutely going to fucking demolish him, but I could potentially see him dropping Ian Garry at least once in their fight. Geoff Neal hits like a fucking truck. There were times that he even hurt Shavkat Rakhmonov, and we've seen Ian Garry get dropped by guys who are not on the level of a Shavkat or a Geoff Neal or anybody in the top 10, to be fair. So, while he's very sneaky, he's very long, he's good at setting things up. Geoff Neal's going to be... So, the setup that he did on D-Rod is a pretty basic setup. It's not like this overly complicated, incredible thing, right? He went to the body a couple times, waited a little bit till he forgot about it, and then went upstairs to the head when D-Rod was thinking he was going to go body because he had hit him there multiple times. I mean, that's a pretty basic setup, right? Just look low, aim high. After you've set the tone, you're going to be going, no higher than the waist or no higher than the torso. I don't think Geoff Neal's going to fall for stuff that easily. Like, Shavkat Rakhmonov had to use some tricks to hit him. And I mean, it was also... Shavkat has a completely different style than Ian Garry. Ian Garry wants to be on the outside. He wants to be picking you apart. He wants to be setting things up. Shavkat Rakhmonov kind of just goes forward, clinch, pushes you out. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't set stuff up, but their styles are worlds apart. And I feel as though Ian Garry's style almost favors Geoff Neal, because Geoff Neal is a very underrated striker. People do not give him enough credit. He is very good. You know what I mean? So, this is a very... very interesting matchup. I am very much looking forward to it. I am extremely impressed with both guys for taking this fight because, as I said, big risk for Geoff Neal. If he loses, he's losing to a guy ranked 5 places below him. And, it wouldn't surprise me if Ian Garry was having trouble getting fights with guys ranked above him. And I understand that, right? And I understand it from the guys who are ranked above him side as well. Why would I accept that fight? You know what I mean? I worked my ass off to get to the top 10. Why am I going to accept a fight against this kid and potentially lose my spot in the top 10 because the UFC wants to kind of spring this guy ahead because they think he's going to be a superstar? But I don't know, man. I think it might be a little bit too much too soon kind of thing, which goes back to the whole Sean O'Malley thing, right? He wanted to make sure he was ready before he fought a top 10 guy. And then whether or not you think he won or lost the Petr Yan fight, he showed that he was ready. Because either direction you scored that fight was close as fuck. And I don't think many people were expecting that. I know I wasn't. I had picked Petr Yan by a country mile. And I don't even think I had a YouTube channel yet, but I think just me chit-chatting with my brother, I was like, yeah, Petr Yan's going to fuck him up, obviously. And it kind of shows you that, well, maybe taking your time works. You know what I mean? But Ian Garry don't want none of that. Ian Garry don't want none of that. And in my opinion, he's fought better competition than Sean O'Malley up until that point also. Bad dude, man. And he is after that fucking title. And if he beats Geoff Neal, holy shit, dude. He'll be ranked, number 7th? And then we get to see Ian Garry against a guy like a Shavkat. Ian Garry again. I mean, it doesn't get easier after Geoff Neal. That's probably in the top 10, one of the better matchups for him, but I don't know that that's going to be enough. I think I have to lean Geoff Neal here. Geoff Neal is a bad man. He hits like a fucking truck. He has got a chin on him, right? We learned in the Shavkat Rakhmonov fight. So I don't know, unless short of hitting him with a flush head kick the way that Ian Garry did to D-Rod there. I don't know that he's going to be putting Geoff Neal away unless that Shavkat fight took a lot more out of Geoff Neal than we thought. I just hope he can get his weight in order because that would really bug me. You know what I mean? If he came in 4 pounds overweight again and then had a close fight with Ian Garry, I would feel pretty shitty for Ian Garry because with Shavkat, it was kind of like, fuck it. You know what I mean? He was so disadvantaged. Everybody thought he was going to lose. Give him the 4 pounds. It didn't fucking matter anyways. But, man, anyways, dude, Geoff Neal probably by... I could see him stopping Ian Garry, man. That's the problem. This is a very tough one to call, actually. I would have to look into it more. I would have to watch back some of their old fights, look at some of their tendencies. I might do that later, actually. Maybe I'll make a fight film breakdown video on ways that they could finish each other. But as of right now, I would probably lean Geoff Neal. I'm not going to say that he'll finish him. I could definitely see him dropping Ian Garry, though, and at least winning a decision pretty handedly. Just because the level of competition he's fought, man, that guy has fought fucking everybody. And the only striker that truly gave him issues, where he was like outmatched, and I don't mean like the Shavkat Rakhmonov fight. And there's also an asterisk on this because if I'm not mistaken, he had just undergone some serious health complications regarding his heart and things like that. So not like a small fucking health complication, was the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight. And to be fair, almost anybody who decides they're going to strike with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson gets outclassed the way that Geoff Neal does. So I'm leaning Geoff Neal to win. I'm going to do some more research. I might come back with a fight film breakdown because in my opinion, this is a very exciting fight and I can't wait to see it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Just heads up, I am moving. I've got a fucking mountain of cardboard boxes, literally, that I can touch. They're within they're within arm's reach. I might be slightly inactive. I will try to keep putting out videos though, daily, if not every other day. So just bear with me. Anyways, like and subscribe, greatly appreciate it. Bye bye.